The forgotten science that kept medieval families alive, and honestly still matters in World War II thinking. Firewood wasn't comfort, it was life insurance. Get it wrong and families froze, starved or suffocated on smoke. Get it right and you survived winters, sieges and long stretches of scarcity. This is the forgotten science of firewood storage, and it's, far more ruthless, calculated and intelligent than most people realise. What medieval households mastered quietly is the same survival logic echoed centuries later in World War II. Resource discipline, energy efficiency and preparation under pressure. No romance, no nostalgia. Just results. Let's get into it. Firewood was a system, not a pile. Medieval families didn't store wood. They managed an energy system. Every log represented heat, cooked food, boiled water, light and protection from damp disease. A wet log wasn't just inconvenient. It could, double smoke output, waste calories, and poison indoor air. Historical records and reconstructed hearth studies show that properly seasoned wood produces up to 50% more usable heat than freshly cut logs. That's not trivia. That's survival math. This is why wood storage was planned months, sometimes years ahead. Families thought in winters, not weekends. The same mentality later defined World War II fuel rationing and stockpiling. You don't burn tomorrow's reserves today unless you want to lose later. Time was the first ingredient. Freshly cut wood is heavy because it's full of water. Medieval households knew this intuitively. They understood that fire hates moisture. The rule was simple. Cut early, store long. Wood was often cut in late winter or early spring, when sap levels were lower. Then it was left to dry through summer heat and autumn winds. By winter it burned hot, fast and clean. Modern experiments replicating medieval hearths show that wood seasoned for at least 1 year reduces smoke output by nearly half compared to green wood. Less smoke meant fewer lung infections and less eye damage, especially in enclosed homes. This same logic reappears in World War II survival manuals, warning soldiers never to burn green fuel unless there was no alternative. Smoke reveals position. Smoke kills efficiency. Smoke kills people. Airflow was engineered, not accidental. Medieval firewood stacks weren't random. They were engineered structures. Logs were stacked off the ground to prevent moisture from soil. Stones, wooden rails or raised platforms were used to keep airflow underneath. Gaps were intentionally left between logs, allowing wind to pull moisture out over time. Covered but never sealed, protected but never suffocated. This balance really mattered. Fully enclosed storage trapped humidity and encouraged rot, while open exposure risked rain. The sweet spot was controlled airflow with a top cover. This principle, mirrors World War II field storage methods for ammunition, food and fuel. Elevate supplies, protect from moisture, allow ventilation. Mould and damp were enemies long before bullets were. Location was a strategic choice. Wood wasn't stored far away, but it wasn't stored inside either. Too far meant wasted energy hauling logs in snow. Too close meant pests, mould and fire risk. Medieval households placed wood stores near walls, under overhangs, or in dedicated lean-tos facing prevailing winds. This wasn't convenience, it was logistics. The same logic shows up in World War II base layouts. Fuel depots were close enough for access, far enough to reduce catastrophic loss. Risk was always managed, never ignored. Size and shape changed everything. Not all logs were equal, you know. Medieval families split wood intentionally. Smaller splits dried faster and ignited easier, while larger logs burned longer overnight. Both had their roles. A common mistake today is storing massive unsplit logs and then wondering why they smoke and sputter. Medieval households knew better. They matched wood size to purpose. Cooking fires needed fast ignition. Heating fires needed endurance. Emergency fires needed reliability. World War II survival training actually taught the same principle. Fuel type and size had to match mission need. Waste nothing. Optimize everything. Firewood was counted like rations. Families tracked wood consumption mentally. They knew how many stacks meant one winter, how many cold weeks remained, and how much could be spared. Running out wasn't an inconvenience. It was a death sentence. Historical household accounts show that wood shortages often led to reduced meals, unheated rooms, and dangerous indoor burning practices. People died not from cold alone, but from desperation decisions. World War II rationing systems worked on the same logic. Control usage early or suffer collapse later. Discipline beat optimism every time. Knowledge was passed quietly and precisely. This science wasn't written down for the masses. It was passed from parent to child, from neighbour to neighbour, through mistakes and close calls. People learned which wood smoked, which sparked, which burned hot but fast. Oak, ash, beech, each had known traits. This mirrors how World War II veterans passed survival knowledge after the war, not in manuals, but in habits. Habits keep people alive when instructions disappear. Why this still matters? Firewood storage isn't medieval trivia. It's survival literacy. Natural disasters, fuel shortages, power outages and conflict all reduce modern life to basic needs: fast, heat, food, clean air, time. The medieval world survived centuries without grids or gas. World War II proved modern societies could be stripped back overnight. The same principles apply today. Preparation beats reaction. Dry fuel beats desperation. Systems beat piles. Final thoughts. The forgotten science of firewood storage wasn't about comfort. It was about control in a world that offered none. Medieval families survived because they respected energy. World War II survivors endured because they rationed it. And, well, the lesson still stands. If you found this useful, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to 0 Hour World War II for more survival history that actually matters. Share this video with someone who thinks preparation is optional. Because, history doesn't repeat itself politely. It repeats when people forget. Vixen Karten Setters. Z. 0 Hour World War II.